What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live. We're going to be talking NBA Finals with you guys for a little bit tonight. We're going to be covering Game 3. The Heat finally got a victory. Hopefully they can make this more of a series than it is at the moment, but had they lost, we would be talking about how the Lakers are guaranteed champs because there's no way the Heat were going to come back from a 3-0 deficit. So they got a really good win without their second and third best player. They didn't make any excuses. They went in and got it done. We got Myers Leonard getting some playing time. I got to shut off the ringtone on my phone because I forgot to do so. We'll talk about Myers playing in the NBA Finals, which is good to see. And I honestly think he's played decent basketball for them. Bam Adebayo was questionable for Game 4. Dragic is still doubtful, so we'll see what things look like for the Heat going into probably a must-win Game 4. But that is what we got on tap for you guys. Hopefully the internet cooperates because I'm getting lag notifications. I think my lag notifications are broken. I'm not sure though. But hello, Eric's mom. I beat you to the punch. Heat in Game 6. Yeah, I hope so, man. Yeah, basketball's still happening, man. I know, like, Blazer fans are in hibernation at the moment. For the most part, we are. Everybody's in hibernation that got knocked out. I feel like.
Hey, where'd all the people go that said this was the most boring series ever and that they were done watching basketball and all that stuff?
I mean, it's boring watching the Lakers beat up a team that they're far better than. It's entertaining to see the Heat upset the Lakers. It's not entertaining to see the Lakers beat the Heat at this point.
Yeah. My problem is the people who tweet that are the same ones who are like, oh, I didn't even know the game was on, must have missed it. Or like, you didn't even watch, so don't comment that it was boring because you didn't even see the game, you know?
Yeah. Bruce, no, it's not. This is Blazers Uprise Live. But okay, so let's just hop into this recap. So Jimmy Butler played amazing. I honestly underrated Jimmy this season. I underrated what he was going to do in Miami, and he is proving himself to probably be a top 10 player. Like, just what he's done on this stage is very, very impressive. I mean, he had a 40-point triple-double. You combine that with the type of defense he plays and him just willing his team to a victory, it's extremely impressive. You got guys like Luka Doncic who are looked at as ahead of him at this point, but what has Luka Doncic done on a playoff stage? He had a couple good first-round games. Meanwhile, you got Jimmy Butler, who is literally willing a team that nobody thought would make it out of the second round. They were the lowest seed in the first round. They've been the lowest seed in every series they've played in. They dominated Milwaukee. They handled Boston in 6, and he's been a key reason why. Now they're down their second and third best player in Game 3, and he drops a 40-point triple-double. It's insanely impressive. That was an insane performance from him. I actually was able to watch instead of just listen. I was able to watch most of the game. I was also watching Sunday Night Football, which I don't want to talk about, and I know you don't either. But yeah, so I caught basically the whole game, and dude, just he's fun to watch, man. From like a competitor standpoint, from how hard he plays to just the way he leads to the way he plays defense, it's fun, man. And that was, I saw this question going around, and I want to get your opinion on this. People were talking about that performance stacked up against all of LeBron's playoff performances, and I saw some people saying that performance by Jimmy Butler was more impressive than any individual performance that LeBron has had in an NBA Finals game in his career. Where do you think it stacks up? Like, I'm sure we're just prisoner of, the moment, but that was very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron had a series they lost, but didn't he average like a 30-point triple-double in the finals? And some people thought he should have won MVP even on a losing team. So I think we're maybe getting a little over it, but
I think it's more impressive when it leads to a win. I think that has a factor.
Yeah, I don't know if definitely not at this stage, but if the situations were reversed, I don't know if LeBron, especially now, is capable of doing that kind of thing and winning the game against a team like the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about Game 3 LeBron and Game 3 Jimmy Butler, if you swap them, the Lakers probably win by 20 points. If it was Jimmy Butler and AD, the way Jimmy Butler played in Game 3, he thoroughly outplayed LeBron. LeBron was solid the first 2 games. I mean, this is just the most important matchup in the finals. If Jimmy Butler can thoroughly outplay LeBron, they have a chance, right? The problem is he doesn't have that second guy right now that can outplay Anthony Davis, so they have to force Anthony Davis into having mediocre nights, which they kind of did in Game 3. Let me pull up the box score, because if one of those two is playing well and Jimmy's without Bam and Jimmy's without Goran Dragic, it's hard to see the Heat beating them. So it's almost like they needed Jimmy to just be insane, and then they needed to defensively slow down LeBron and AD, and they got all 3 of those things.
I will say, I can't think of a better individual game in the finals than that game. Mm-hmm. I mean, he just took them on their back, and that's. You said earlier that you were wrong about Jimmy. I feel like you were kind of right, and I felt the same way, whereas Jimmy's way better in that situation where he knows he's the man and he's got confidence in the team around him. But if he was just like a secondary piece on a team and didn't need to do that, then I think you're kind of wasting his ability. And that's why I think obviously I'd want to pair him with Dame. I'm not saying that, but I don't know if having him with Damian Lillard really makes him that much better of a player. I think like some stars, if you pair him with another star, it makes them a little more like timid, or like I wouldn't say Jimmy Butler would be timid, but like I just don't think he would feel the need to control the game like he did, and that isn't necessarily always a good thing.
The thing is with him, he's just far better with the ball in his hands than he is without the ball in his hands. You know, like a Klay Thompson, he's good when he catches the ball. He's a good shooter. He doesn't really do much off the dribble, but he's like great without the ball as a spot-up option, as a cutter, whatnot. You know, so that's a guy who can coexist off stars. Jimmy Butler is a guy that, like, you have to have the ball in his hands. The biggest question with Jimmy Butler has been like, okay, is he good enough to be the number 1 option on a contending level team? And I would have said no before this.
Oh.
So it would have been like, okay, like, how do you find a co-star that can coexist with Jimmy Butler just with his play style? You know, like maybe he probably would have been like a good fit with like a Jokic or somebody, but it's like you put him here in Portland and this team is probably a contending level team. It's just like hard to slot him in as like a secondary option just because he's not much of a 3-point shooter and he's a creator who scores off the dribble. But I think he's proven he can be the number 1 option on a contending team with what he's done in this playoffs.
Absolutely.
He had. Go ahead.
I think sometimes. I think the problem is the last 3 years he hasn't been 100% healthy too, so you kind of downgrade him for that. Like during the regular season, do you know how many games he played this year? I know this season got cut short, so it's not like a full.
This year he played
58 games, which is more than I would have thought.
Yeah.
But how many games did they end up playing? Like
the Martins here.
They missed probably about 20 games, maybe 16 games.
Yeah, so that was like the majority of the season. He hasn't really dealt with injuries that are like chronic though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of been like fluky type of stuff. So, but
it's like Kawhi, like where he misses 20 games a year, but
yeah,
doesn't necessarily have a. I mean, I know he did have the 1 year where he had the quad injury, but other than that, Kawhi's been more just sits out random games and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, but Jimmy Butler's starting to go that's like a really good distributor. That's where he's really improved the past like 3 seasons, I feel like. Because you look at this game, he had 13 assists, 40 points, 11 rebounds, 14 for 20 from the field. Didn't even shoot a 3. Shot 20 shots inside the arc. Got to the line 14 times, right? So that's 34 shots, counting 2-pointers and 3 throws. He didn't shoot a single 3. That's where I'm talking about, like, you know, he needs the ball in his hands. But he's like a guy who just constantly attacks. That's what I love about his game, is he's not like settling for step back mid-range contested jump shots. He's not settling for contested threes. He's a guy that just goes at you and forces you to either send help, or then he's really good at making that extra pass out to shooters, or he'll score around the rim. or he'll make you foul him. You know what I mean? Like he is lethal attacking the rim right now, and he just is just putting his head down and going. But it's not just like where he's out of control and he's, just kind of barreling through guys and that type of thing. Like he had like a Rondo-esque type of pump fake last game where he drove across the lane, pump fake like this, then spun back away from the defender and finished. He had a pull up like 9-foot bank shot. You know what I mean? Like he's being creative while also just being relentless in terms of how he's attacking.
In the playoffs, when you need to kind of score it in a different way than you do in the regular season, this is the difference, in my opinion, why guys like Giannis and Ben Simmons haven't gone far in the playoffs or made it to this level yet. Because Jimmy Butler, he gets the switch. If he gets a smaller guy on him, he'll back him down, post him up. He can still shoot the mid-range, pull up on the guy, or he can back him down and get to the rim. Whereas those other guys basically have to get to the rim to be effective. They don't have that mid-range ability that Jimmy Butler has. And, his passing was on point last night, too. So there's a big difference between someone who doesn't shoot threes but can still score in a multiple amount of ways other than just getting to the rim and dunking or laying it in or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I forget if it was game 1 or 2, but there was a game where he was 2 for 4 from 3. So he shot 27% on the season, but he was a better shooter like a couple seasons ago. He just doesn't really shoot them. But I feel like he's the type of guy, like if he gets a rhythm scoring the ball, maybe like finishing around the rim, maybe getting a mid-range or two to fall, he's the type that can knock down a 3. He's just not going to be Westbrook-esque and force bad threes. He's the type of guy like, okay, if shot clock's under 10, defense is completely sagging, I'll pull up and shoot this to get the defense to at least step out enough where then I can attack the rim.
He's got that it's kind of reminding me of Dwayne Wade in 2006 because he didn't shoot a lot of threes either. And kind of willed that team to victory. I know they had like Shaq and some vets on that team, but
I mean, you got Myers Leonard, that's the same thing. But I think something that's helping him. Let me just say this. I'm not sure how much getting Bam back is going to help them offensively with the way that Jimmy's playing. Because right now, Jimmy constantly has 4 3-point shooters on the court around him. Right? Bam gets hurt. Who starts? Myers Leonard. Who's playing more minutes at center as well? Kelly Olynyk. Both of those guys can shoot threes. Yeah, so he has so much space to work with. Like, I don't think he scores 40 points with Bam. Bam's better in, a lot of areas offensively than Myers and Kelly Olynyk is, so he might make up for that, but you have to wonder, like, offensively, they look good with Myers on the court, right? They've started games good the past two games with Myers on the court. And he's shot well and finished well and like kind of played within himself.
The only thing I'll say to that is, I couldn't believe Butler was still doing the things he was doing at the end of that game because he was absolutely gassed in that fourth quarter. So the only thing I could say is like maybe Bam can take a little pressure off, play with the second unit a little more, and not have to play him 40 some minutes or however much he played. But this is also the finals. You don't have a game if you lose the next one. I mean, you do, but your season's basically over if you lose the next one. So, I kind of get what you're saying. Oh, go ahead.
From the center spot, the last 2 games, in game 2, Kelly Olynyk plus Myers and Leonard combined for 46 minutes at the center spot, so 46 of the 48. Combined, they shot 4 for 8 in game 2. In game 3 combined, they played 44 minutes and shot 4 for 6. So that's 8 for 14 from the center spot in the last 2 games from 3, right? Bam ain't giving you that. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. And that's where some of Jimmy Butler's assists are coming from because he's getting the big guy to help on his drives and he's making the right pass and kicking out to bigs that can shoot the ball, right? In game 3, Myers Leonard was 2 for 2 inside the arc. Kelly Olynyk was 2 for 4, so they're finishing plays as well. In game 2, Kelly Olynyk was 6 for 9 inside the arc, Myers Leonard was 1 for 2. So they're finishing inside the arc as well when they get the opportunity. So they've stepped up and played very, very well. Kelly Olynyk had 24 points in Game 2 and 17 points in Game 3. Like, he has been phenomenal for them. And it just makes me wonder, with the way Kelly Olynyk has played the last 2 games, with the space that Myers Leonard and Kelly Olynyk have provided for Jimmy Butler, like, I don't think Bam coming back is going to, like, change things as much as other people think it'll change things offensively.
Offensively, yeah. But Anthony Davis didn't have a great game last game either, but you'd think that would help them defensively at least. But
yeah, but like Kelly Olynyk's an underrated defender. I feel like people just assume like he's a guy who can't defend. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know why people defender, smart defender, good team defender, 7 foot, but like is decently agile for a 7-footer. He's not a bad defender. He's an underrated defender.
Yeah, I agree with that. Not Bam level, but he's decent.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think you're right in the sense of like letting Jimmy Butler go crazy. But I think if the Heat are going to win this series, they need Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero to shoot better. And I think that's where Bam comes in, where when they run the offense through him, they run a little bit more off-ball screens and plays to get those guys better shots that they weren't getting the greatest looks the last game. So that's the only thing I'd say is that maybe you could get some of your other guys going to not need as much from Jimmy Butler, because he's not going to have like a 40-point triple-double every game. So.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just interesting. Bam will help them. I just feel like people are overrating the difference he's going to make because of how well Olynyk and Myers have stepped up in this place.
We don't know how hurt he is, too. That could play a factor.
Yeah. When he comes back, though, like, you have to keep playing Olynyk decent minutes, right? He's killed it the last 2 games. He's kind of made some poor decisions at times, especially in Game 2. In Game 3, he settled down a little bit more, I felt like, and played within himself more. But, I mean, in Game 2, he's only had 2 turnovers, had 2 assists as well, was 9 for 16 from the field, 3 for 7 from the three-point line. Like, whose minutes get cut? Like, Myers' minutes will get cut, but Myers has only been playing, he only played 9 minutes in Game 2, and he played 13 minutes in Game 3. Other than Myers, who else's minutes get cut, or should get cut, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. Myers, and then, I mean, I don't think Olynyk deserves to have too many minutes cut, but that's where it'll come from.
Like, Jake Crowder's played good defense, but he was 2 for 8 Game 3. He's just an inconsistent shooter, but I don't think you can cut his minutes because of just what he provides defensively next to Jimmy. Probably maybe play a little bit bigger. I honestly want to see him play a little bit bigger. You know, maybe put like, I don't know, like Kelly Olynyk next to Bam. Defensively might help them compete more on the interior because the Lakers are an extremely big team. The Lakers had 11 offensive rebounds to the Heat's 3 in Game 3. So maybe you run some lineup with Kelly Olynyk at the 4 and Bam at the 5 and try and compete more inside. And Kelly Olynyk provides you, maybe you cut Tyler Hero's minutes a little bit or Duncan Robinson's a little bit and you go a little bigger, but you still have that same level of shooter. You just have like a Kelly Olynyk instead of a Duncan Robinson or a Kelly Olynyk instead of a Tyler Hero.
Yeah, we've seen them ride the hot hand. So yeah, if Duncan Robinson is struggling, you go big. Maybe if Tyler Hero is struggling, you do the same thing. If one of those guys is on fire, you just keep riding them and seeing what happens there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Spoelstra does with that.
I gotta say though, I was so jealous watching Miami's defense last game. So I wish we could break down film more. But so Butler was guarding LeBron, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they both do the same thing offensively, right? LeBron would bring the ball up, Jimmy Butler would bring the ball up. They'd get a screen from whichever guy they want to switch on, right?
Yeah.
So like both teams had the same strategy. So what the Lakers were doing is pretty much just switching, and then Jimmy Butler just took advantage of it. So I'm like, okay, this is stupid. Like, why switch? Like, why doesn't LeBron just go under the pick and make Jimmy Butler hit threes and not get to the rim? So, but on Miami's defensive end, so Jimmy Butler would just stand there and let the screener like basically screen him, and he would just take a step back and just stand there and let the guy hedge the pick. And then like he would just stand there and wait for LeBron to come off the pick and be dribbling again, and then he'd just go right back up and guard him again. So like he like left him, but he never left, if that makes sense. He would just stand there like 5 feet below the pick. And he did that every time. And somehow the guys off, the other 3 players off ball were all in perfect position. So like there wasn't, because you would think if you did that, someone would be wide open, right? But like the way the Lakers had the floor space, they always had someone within a few feet of someone. So like they basically just took the pick and roll. Like the Lakers kept running pick and roll, and it was worthless because they didn't even get a switch out of it or any kind of advantage from running the pick and roll. And like I was so jealous that they were able to do that and it not cost them on the back end of their defense with rotations and stuff. Like why can't more NBA teams do that? It's so frustrating.
I mean, I'll explain it in layman's terms. Like, this is just a perfect example of a well-coached defensive team. You look at their starting lineup, they have 3 poor defenders in the starting lineup. You have Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and Myers Leonard. But they've been able to get out to leads with their starting lineup because still, as a unit, their starting lineup still plays good defense because of how well coached they are, right? Myers is a better defender than he ever was in Portland. And it's not like he's blocking shots or anything, but he's in the right position more often than he ever was in Portland. That's something that I noticed with Myers playing. Like, he was in the right position more, and it was just like, it didn't seem like Myers, you know what I mean? Because Myers was always out of position in Portland. Always slow to recognize things. Now he's in the right position more often than not. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, they're not like good on ball defenders. They don't have quick feet, but they position correctly off the ball, and they can run whatever scheme the coach decides to run with them. That's why all season I said the poor defensive personnel is not an excuse for A, players being out of position, and B, not running different defensive schemes, right? Because what would happen if this starting lineup was playing for Terry Stotts? If Terry Stotts had Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Jay Crowder, and Myers Leonard, they would probably be a below average defense, would get absolutely killed by the Lakers, would run one scheme, players wouldn't be in the right positions off the ball, and Stotts defenders would be saying, oh, well, what do you expect Stotts to do? He has Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and Myers Leonard out there. None of them are good defenders. They're all poor defenders, so there's nothing Stotts can do. That's on the GM. That's a personnel issue. But with Eric Spoelstra coaching them, they can play functional team defense. They can be positioned correctly off the ball, and they can run different stuff, and they can execute a scheme because they're coached well. That's the difference there. Eric Spoelstra is a far better defensive coach than Terry Stotts is. Like, they're in different universes in that regard, and this is a perfect example.
And we've brought that up how many times this season, that it's not about individual defense. It's about being in the right positions, knowing what to do in certain situations, like not falling asleep off ball, being connected as a unit, all 5 players, and that's all coaching. And the people who say it's not are people who don't understand basketball, in my opinion, because they don't see it that way. They just see, oh, Jimmy Butler is a great defender. How could you even compare that to anyone we have defensively? Which is somewhat true, and I mean, it's kind of a casual take, but like
one person doesn't make or break a defense, though.
I mean, it can, like an incredibly good defender can make you a better defense, but
it'll help, but it's not a make or break type of thing.
But you still, because like I said, Jimmy Butler wasn't even guarding anyone when the pick happened, so like you need the other 3 people to be in the right spot, or that doesn't work. Jimmy Butler can be the greatest one-on-one defender of all time, but if the other 3 people weren't in the right spots and they give up a lob dunk or a wide open 3, then that doesn't matter. And that's what happens with us, is like we stand around watching and we're not connected as a unit, so we don't know what to do when someone does A and like how to react to that, and then if they do B, how to react to that. And we just do the same thing no matter what their reaction is by the person getting screened. And it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive, especially because of who they're playing against, too. You got LeBron, who's a phenomenal passer and 6'8". You got Rajon Rondo. Those are guys that pick apart defenses if the help side positioning is not spot on, right? So that's even more impressive, who they're doing it against. The Lakers killed us offensively in some games just because you had LeBron picking us apart with the pass and just throwing dimes, and our off ball positioning was terrible. But that's the thing, is like, just because you're Tyler Hero or CJ McCollum doesn't mean you can't position yourself correctly off ball, right? That's not like a physical trait that's stopping you from doing that, right? That's not a he's too slow to position himself correctly. That's not like a individual defensive trait issue. It's not a personnel issue. It's like a mental issue. And that's the thing, is coaching has control over the mental issues of a team, right? You'll get some players that just won't get it, but I think most players in the NBA, part of the reason they're in the NBA is because they're coachable, right? So that's the thing. It's like, yes, CJ is a bad off-ball defender, a bad team defender, but I think with a coach like Erik Spoelstra, he wouldn't be anywhere near as bad as he is, because it's an awareness thing, it's a mental thing, and if you drill it in enough throughout the course of the season and you make it enough of a point of emphasis, then it should be something that improves, especially from bad defenders, right? Good defenders might already have it pretty much down. You're not going to see much improvement. You're going to see more improvement from a bad off-ball defender if off-ball defense is drilled into the team all year. So that's also what I didn't understand, because I would say all season long, like, their off-ball positioning sucks. This should be something that should be improving. And people would say, oh, well, what do you expect, man? Like, Melo is a bad defender and CJ is a bad defender. But, like, that argument makes no sense, because if they're bad defenders and terrible off-ball defenders, if it's being coached into them, they should be improving. So that's the thing. I'm not saying they should be great. I'm not saying they should be really good. I'm saying they should be improving throughout the season. And that was one of the things that we didn't see. We didn't see the team improve their off-ball positioning and their team defense. And it resulted in the bubble where we were terrible defensively.
Yeah, as Trevin pointed out, we did have that one defensive practice, though, remember?
Yeah, and the media reported it like it was something extremely special, where we just spent a whole practice on defense. With the way we were defending, half of our practices should have been all defense.
Every practice should have been
It's not defense. Like offensively we run stuff that's like hard to run and needs much practice. It's a lot isolation and one-on-one. So yeah, we should have been like, the fact that was reported as some big thing, the fact that we had one practice where we just focused on defense and that was like something like astronomically special, is a red flag to me. It was a red flag.
And then, so other than defense, I think off-ball movement and, stagnant offense, ISO ball, that's a reflection on coaching too. So, like, that's why we see a guy like Ariza get traded to the Blazers, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, we have a cutter. But then after like 10 games, like there's no more cuts and stuff. And it's like, wait, where did the cutting go? Or like game one, we see Whiteside perfectly hedge and recover on multiple picks. And then we don't see it again the rest of the season, basically, because like it seems like he's being coached not to do that or something. And it's like, well, and then you have all these people like, well, Whiteside can't do that. And it was like, well, why could he do it in the first game against Denver, which is a good offensive team? And it's just so frustrating. Like, you see like Nurkic come over and excel like right away. Like he hadn't even practiced and he's in there like dominating games, like,
yeah.
It's just frustrating that like, we make it all the way to the Western Conference Finals and we still don't know how to rotate on defense. And that's my problem when people say like, but we made the Western Conference Finals. Yeah.
If game one, we came out with the right scheme, because we didn't, but then also, if we knew how to position off ball well enough, we could have won that series. That could have completely changed that series. With Erik Spoelstra as our coach going into that series, like, seeing how it played out, I think we definitely could have won that series. Because a lot of those games were close, a lot of those games we did have a lead in, and we lost that lead because they started picking apart our defense at the point of attack. You know, we were hedging, trapping, you know, doing those sorts of things. We switched up our pick and roll defense, which shouldn't have taken us getting obliterated by Steph Curry in game one, giving him wide open three after wide open three in order for that to happen. But we did change it up at the point of attack. The problem was they were getting past that, and then our backside rotations and positioning was subpar. Mm-hmm. So then you had Draymond like picking it apart with the pass.
And you see a guy like Myers, who you brought up earlier, he was like, you could tell he kind of knew what he was supposed to do, but the problem is he hadn't had enough practice doing it, so it was just a second too slow. And against a team like the Warriors, who excel at getting those like split-second decisions where they get a dunk instead of a block shot or something, like that's the difference in a ball game. So, and that's why we the time how you need to practice this stuff and do different things during the regular season, so that when you need to run something different in the finals or in the Western Conference Finals or in the playoffs, you know how to react and run those plays.
Yep. We lagging. Little baby lag.
I think we're good now.
Alvaro says, you know what's the worst part about Stotts, though? He's shown that he's capable of coaching way better when he makes adjustments like versus Houston, but he consciously refuses to change his schemes. Yeah, it's better when we make adjustments. The problem is even when we do make those adjustments, our backside rotations aren't good because we don't run those types of schemes enough. And it's not drilled into us. That's the thing, is just watching that Golden State series, that Western Conference Finals series, is like, if we just had proper backside rotations and backside defense, off-ball defense, behind the point of attack, then we should have...
Stop ball on transition.
Yeah, that was an issue, but it was just like, if we just did a better job of that, I wonder what that series could have been. Because I think we would have at least won 2 of the games that we lost. And it would have been 2-2 going into Game 5, and who knows what happens at that point. You know what I mean? Like, we could have potentially won a championship if we did those things better. We could have potentially been in the NBA Finals because we were competitive even with those issues. We were, competitive for stretches of the game. Those issues just led to us getting swept.
It's the same thing with, like, the playoffs this year. Like, you look at Game 1, the first quarter of that game, and you watch how beautiful our offense was. And then you don't see it for 3 more games, and we get our butts kicked in pretty much every quarter of the rest of the series. And it's like, why can't you see, like, what we were doing in the first quarter worked, and like you don't even try it again the rest of the series? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, what is, like, it's just baffling. Like, I don't even understand how it's possible to not understand that. Like Sherman says, like, how do we see this? But Stotts doesn't. Like, it's just so frustrating.
Yeah. What's even more baffling is that people that are paid to cover the team have their head stuck in the sand and can't somehow notice the difference between our offense in the first quarter of that game and our offense in the fourth quarter of that game, or our offense in the next game. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's baffling too. Is the problem? The issues are so, like, blatantly obvious to me. That's like, I don't understand how other people don't see it if they watch basketball all the time, or if they truly know basketball. Like, I don't understand how other people don't notice things as well. Sometimes I wonder if it's like, oh, well, they don't watch other NBA teams enough to know, to compare and contrast what we do compared to what, you know, other teams do in, like, the NBA Finals. Well, that's the thing. It's just watch the way the Heat play defense with a lineup with 3 poor defenders in it. Watch the way they play defense as a team still. Watch how they're still effective defensively. Mm-hmm. There's no reason we couldn't do that. So that's the issue I have.
You said something early, I don't know if it was pre-playoffs or around the time the playoffs started, but you had a tweet saying that you didn't think the Portland roster was that much worse than Miami's, if at all. And I still think that's true.
I mean, they didn't get absolutely blown out in Game 2 without Dragic and Adebayo. They won Game 3 without Dragic and Adebayo. Bro, it was Jimmy Butler, and who was their second best player of those games? Kelly Olynyk? They had Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero that couldn't hit shots. You got Myers Leonard starting. Jay Crowder, Iguodala, Kendrick Nunn. But, like, they are far more competitive than we would have been with, like, Dame, CJ, Melo, Nurkic. Like, we got blown out one of those games. I mean, we were competitive in Game 5. I'll give them that. But still, man, just the way that the Heat still play is just a more productive and more conducive style for winning, even though they're missing Dragic and Adebayo. With Dragic and Adebayo, I don't think our roster is that much worse. I'm not taking Jimmy Butler over Dame, right? Bam Adebayo, I would take him over Nurkic, but not by much, right? CJ, I'd take over Dragic. Like, they have, like, better role players, but I feel like the reason they have better role players is because they are coached better. And they are.
But there's no reason why Trent can't be better than Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, like Trent can be Duncan Robinson with defense.
He's better on both ends. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And he can do more off the dribble and finish better and can be like a 40% plus 3-point shooter. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't think the roster is. I think the roster is pretty equal to ours in terms of overall talent. They just play a much better style, and they are much more in tune with each other. They play better team defense, even with bad defenders on the court. Offensively, they move the ball better. They cut a lot better. It's honestly the biggest difference between the Portland Trailblazers and the Miami Heat are style of play and team defense. Literally the biggest reasons are those two things.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't every high-performing team in recent history had an elite small forward, though? Denver didn't. I mean, the thing is, the top 2 players in the league at this point are what? LeBron and Kawhi. They're both small forwards. You know what I mean? Like, and Kevin Durant, when he was healthy, like, it just so happened that the top players in the leagues were like small forwards. I feel like it's not like you have to have an elite small forward to be an elite team. I don't think it's tied to that. I think that's more of a coincidental thing.
Yep. So
3KD Warriors is a good example.
Jake Carey said boo. I think that's when we were talking about comparing Duncan Robinson to Gary Trent.
Man, why
you not like Gary Trent, Jake Carey?
Yeah, I don't
if we ran an offense designed to get Gary Trent the looks Duncan Robinson gets in that offense, he would up his 3-point average a few points too and be right there with Duncan Robinson, I believe.
I mean, but what did he shoot this year? He
shot like 40% without getting great looks.
He shot 42% this year. What Duncan Robinson? I'm looking it up. Duncan Robinson shot 44.6. Gary Trent Jr. shot 41.8. Yeah. That's like they're both lethal shooters. You know, Duncan Robinson's a little bit better, but Duncan Robinson doesn't do anything inside the arc. He shot 1 2-point attempt per game in 30 minutes per game. He's not a threat inside the arc at all. Right? I saw him shoot a layup, I think, last game. Decently easy layup, and he missed it. Like, it wasn't even that close. You know what I mean? Like, Gary Trent Jr. is more of a slashing threat. He's more of a threat as a finisher inside. He better ball handler, so he can push the ball in transition. I don't really want Duncan Robinson doing that. He is a far better defender than Duncan Robinson. Like, that's the thing. I feel like people that like Stoss as a coach underrate our talent and overrate other teams' talent. I've always felt that way. Like,
that's why it's always Solskjaer's fault. Then they can always say that.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like that's how like a lot of people's thinking is geared towards analyzing things. But okay, see, that's a perfect example. Let me take this. Jake Carey says, I don't think he's the same level of movement shooter, can shoot at higher speeds, higher release. Bro, that's as much of a coaching thing as anything. Gary Trent Jr. could be a good shooter moving off the ball. There's no reason he can't be. He's good at catching the ball and getting quickly squared to the hoop, right? He doesn't have a slow release. He's just not used as a movement shooter at all in our offense. That's all.
The same
while Duncan
excuse
Robinson
we hear about
is.
Dame, dude. I'm so sick of that excuse. Like, Dame can't play off the ball because he's just not like Steph. Like, why not? Like, I think Dame could come off a pick and hit a 3. We've seen it happen.
He's lethal coming off a pick too.
Yeah.
And he's quick too. Imagine him as an off-ball mover. He's quicker than Steph is, I think. Like, yeah. So that's the whole thing. It's just, I want I watch the Heat and I'm just jealous of the way they play. I'm jealous of the way they play. I'm not jealous of their roster at all. I'm jealous of the way they're coached.
Yep.
100%. You know, I would, man, Eric Spoelstra is from here. God, I would love Eric Spoelstra here, man. Why? I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
So, to the Alvaro and Sherman's both mentioned that Trent signed with Clutch Sports today.
Mm-hmm.
So people are like worried about it. Dude, Nurk signed with Clutch Sports last year too. So
yeah,
it's not a big deal anymore. It's not like every play, like their NBA roster is getting pretty big. It's not a thing anymore.
I saw somebody say something like 80% of the players that are signed to Clutch Sports don't play for the Lakers. Like, it's probably maybe even higher than that. So, but yeah, I mean, like, I would love to use Dame as an off-ball mover. It's not even necessarily to get him threes. Like, if you're running him off screens and they overplay it, he could get backdoor cuts, you know? Like, and if he's catching the ball at the three-point line with a guy running at him, he could easily turn that into a drive. Like, you're not staying in front of Dame. That's what Steph does all the time. He catches the ball at the three-point line after moving and has some space. The defender is chasing to recover and get out to him, and then he blows by that defender running at him and gets into the lane. Like, there's no reason Dame can't be used like that. There's absolutely nothing regarding Dame that says he can't be used off the ball like Steph is used off the ball. There is nothing. Dame is physically superior to Steph Curry in every single way, right? Every single way. There is nothing in regards to Dame. You could maybe argue you don't have the distributors or whatnot. That's like a little bit more valid. I think we, could move and be fine. I think we have good enough and smart enough passers to be able to move off the ball and make simple passes. But the argument that Dame can't move off the ball like Steph and it's Dame's fault and it's something that Dame can't do is just one of the most ridiculous arguments that Blazer fans make.
That goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is it's a mindset. Golden State has the mindset, like, when you have the ball, watch for Steph coming off this pick or relocating and stuff like that. But if we don't teach our players, because Dame even said it, he's like, oh, I could relocate all day, but they don't even know I relocated or whatever. That's the problem.
Relocate and somebody else will be attacking basically one-on-one. Like,
right. So, but like Golden State knows, like, okay, if I have the ball and I drive and Steph hasn't touched it in a minute, they know he would have ran around to a different spot and is probably open, so like they can kick it out to him. And then there's so much other stuff you can do. And I think CJ would be fine running the offense. Like, we've seen him in games when Dame doesn't. So, like, why not try it sometimes?
Yeah. Here's the easiest way I can explain the difference. Warriors mindset. They catch the ball. They immediately look to see if there's a good pass available. If not, then they might go one-on-one or attack off the dribble. Portland, they catch the ball. A lot of guys catch the ball, and they immediately just go one-on-one. They immediately get tunnel vision. CJ's a guy like that. Melo's a guy like that, and it's frustrating. Like, it's frustrating to me. So that's the thing it's just like it 100% is a mindset thing, and I'm just tired of our style of play, and watching the Heat just makes it so like makes it frustrating. It's not like a personnel injury thing. Like, let me draw a parallel here. Like, Niners lost last night because they didn't have good quarterback play because their starting quarterback is injured. But that wasn't, the coach's head fault. That because Kyle Shanahan runs one of the best offenses in my opinion. Maybe you could like pick apart the play calling and whatnot, but their coach runs a good productive offense, right? If you put bad players in Steve Kerr's system with the Warriors, like, they're probably not going to perform that well. But that's not because of the coach, right? That's because of the players. With us, it's like the better way to explain it is like you can have a good system and still struggle with bad players, but that doesn't excuse having a bad system that just doesn't excuse having a bad system,
It's like when people bring up, well, how come the Spurs missed the playoffs this year if Popovich is such a good coach? It's like, well, I mean, first of all, like, no coach is perfect. And second of all, like, yes, you do need some form of talent. There's a lot of teams better than him. So you can coach your team better than it should have been. Like the Spurs probably shouldn't have even been in the running the last day of the season with that roster for a playoff spot, considering how deep the West was this year. But they were right there towards the last game of the season with a chance to make the playoffs because they're well coached.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the easiest way for me to explain it is you can have bad results by having a good system with poor players, but that doesn't take the heat off a coach for having a bad system. Because that's the thing. People use that all the time to excuse a bad system when a good coach with a good system isn't getting results with poor players.
But the opposite's true, too, because like we have Dame and CJ going crazy in these games. And, I mean, basically propping up our team, but like then Stotts gets the credit for some reason instead of
coach ain't getting any credit if somebody scores one-on-one. If there's no passes made and Dame goes and scores one-on-one, there's no credit to be given to the coach. Thing is, that happens a ton. If Dame brings the ball up, but they just run a simple pick and roll, like that's what I do in rap ball. You know what I mean? Like you don't even need a coach to play one-on-one and run basic pick and roll. You don't need a coach for that. So why does the coach get credit for that being his primary form of offense and having good pick and roll and isolation players pop off? I don't understand that. It doesn't make logical sense to me.
All I gotta say is, for those of you who want to watch something on defense for the Heat next game, just keep your eye on what Jimmy Butler does when he's guarding LeBron. Watch what he does in the pick and roll. Watch how the other guys are in perfect position. But just keep your eye on Jimmy Butler, and you'll see something that you've never seen in Portland. And it's crazy. It's like almost like he was playing a one-man zone, and the rest of the guys were playing man, and it somehow worked. Like I don't even know how to explain it. But
yeah, I mean, Spoelstra is a good defensive coach in terms of scheming the right schemes. You saw them kind of eliminate Giannis a bit. You saw them handle Boston pretty well, and part of that is having guys like Jimmy Butler, Jay Crowder, Iguodala, whatnot. But part of that is scheming the right way. Yeah, I mean, and you can employ they can employ some of the things they did against Milwaukee against the Lakers, because LeBron and Giannis, you can kind of guard them the same way. LeBron might make you pay from three where Giannis won't, but like that's you're kind of okay with them living out there compared to the damage they could do inside the arc. But Spoelstra is the type of guy that's like he's gonna scheme up the right scheme, no matter who they're playing against. I feel like so. Now he just has a guy to like make the ship run where he didn't in the past like couple years. He didn't have a Jimmy Butler, and he was stuck with Hassan Whiteside. Bam wasn't quite there yet, and Hassan Whiteside was starting. So part of it is how good Bam has gotten. Part of it is now he has a guy to make everything work in Jimmy Butler. But that's not to take away from the work that Spoelstra has done this year.
Yep, absolutely.
So, I am getting this mailbag uploaded as we speak. Eric, you got video tomorrow?
Yeah, I should have a video tomorrow.
Dope. And then draft profiles, slightly behind, but I finished all the graphics I need to make for him, and me and Eric have recorded 4. We've recorded Edwards, Wiseman, Toppin, and Okongwu, so those will be the first 4 draft profiles over on NBA Uprise, which is our general NBA channel. We will post 7 draft profiles over on Blazers Uprise, but we will post like 50 or so over on NBA Uprise. So that is the plan with that website. I still don't know what the deal is with that. It's not really in my control, and I'm not having the easiest time like communicating with the guy building it right now, so kind of getting a little frustrating, but like he also has a baby and was sick and stuff like that, so understanding as well, but I want to get that launched soon. It's just I'm not the one building it. I wouldn't have time and the knowledge to be able to do what needs to be done for that. So
oh man, Jay Curry said Nico Mannion's in his top 7 now.
What?
I don't even think I have him in the first round.
Yeah, I have him like 20s. Kira Lewis is 5th for me now on my big board. I have Kira Lewis over Killian Hayes now. And Avdia. Dude, I'm so high on Kira Lewis. I'm really high on his upside. I think he could be like an all-star, legitimate all-star. Hot take for you guys. That's who I was tweeting about last night. If any of you saw that tweet, but D Will was my upside. Nico, Darren Williams, what? I mean, like, Jake I'm so baffled because Jake knows his stuff, but how is Nico and Darren Williams anything alike?
I don't know. Shervin says, Torrey, in the Gary Trent draft profile, you said you were concerned about his defense. Was he that bad in college?
He wasn't good.
He was basically just known as a shooter.
Yeah.
But that's where the mindset comes in. And this is all Gary Trent. That's not something that Portland does. But his dad, kept ingraining in him that he needs to be a dog on defense if he's going to make it in the NBA.
Yeah.
But current Darren Williams is Nico's comp.
Yeah, I just don't see that because like Nico doesn't have like strength like that at all. Like Darren Williams was like a guy who used his body well, like kind of bullied guys, kind of was just a super strong guard that was like quick but could also use his body to make things happen, which is rare for like a 6'2", 6'3" point guard. That's kind of why Darren Williams was special. I don't see Nico like being like that at all. I don't know. But for Kira Lewis, I just think his speed, number one, his quickness. He's fast as hell, but he can also hit threes off the dribble, can also catch and shoot. He only shot like 37% from three in college, but I think his form translates out to the NBA three-point line. He's able to hit shots off the dribble. I like his handle. I like the way he moves with the ball. Like I feel like he could be like a 22, 23 point per game scorer if he reaches his ceiling. I also think he has defensive potential because he's very quick-footed. And it's more about like, does he have the motor and does he have the IQ defensively to be a good on-ball defender? But like all around, I love his all-around game. I feel like he's being slept on, man. I really do. I feel like he has more upside than like a Killian Hayes. No plus skill. I don't think he has a negative skill. And when you combine that with speed, it gives him a really high upside because he's a really good base to work off of. That's the thing I think with Nico, though, is what is his positive skill? Why are you so quiet?
I'm just thinking about draft. Now that we started doing those videos, I'm like constantly thinking of what I want to say in them,
Yeah.
So like I'm just like I'm trying to understand what Jake sees in Nico Mannion. I don't see, but I don't like any of the three Arizona players. I don't know.
Yeah. The idea of Josh Green is I like more than, I don't know. I feel like Josh Green might be the best. If he can really figure out his shot and be a good defender, like I feel like he has 3-and-D potential. But all right, let me look up the stats, because that's the thing is like, let me see here. Nico Mannion shot 32.7% from three. Kira Lewis shot 36 point. Let me look it up. Kira Lewis shot 36.6. So Kira Lewis shot 4 percentage points better than Nico Mannion. But Nico Mannion is a great pull-up shooter while Kira Lewis doesn't have a plus skill. I don't understand that.
39.2% from the field.
Yeah.
With a probably better team around him. And
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of confused. I don't know. Nico Mannion averaged 5.3 assists per game in 32.3 minutes per game with better talent around him. Kira Lewis averaged 5.2 assists per game. He did play 37.6 minutes per game, but it's not like their assist numbers are that different. Kira Lewis does turn over the ball 3.5 times a game, while Nico Mannion only turns over the ball 2.6 times a game. But like, Nico Mannion has a ton of talent around him, and he only got a little over 5 assists per game. I don't know. I mean, like, and then when I watch him, I don't see him being like a special passer, shooting all that well. So I don't know. I'm just kind of baffled. But I honestly don't think there's one thing Nico does that's like surely better than Kira Lewis Jr. How's Alabama point guard friendly? I don't know. He pays a ton of attention. I just don't see it. I'm just confused. That's the most baffling like guy you've been high on, because like Tyler Hero I kind of got. I wasn't high on Tyler Hero, but like I kind of like got why somebody would be high on him. I don't. Everybody that Jake Carey's been high on over the past like 2-3 years, I've understood why. Even if I disagreed, I kind of understood why. I don't understand being high on Nico Mannion at all. It's like the first guy that I just really don't understand.
Jake loves himself some slightly above average role players.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
Yeah, I was gonna take it there.
Because he loves Tyler Hero and he loves Nico Mannion. Didn't he love Pat Connaughton? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I like players that help you win. A guy like Kira Lewis will help a team win, man. I'm telling you, I am on board. I'm 100% all in on Kira Lewis.
Jake, who would you take number 1 in this draft? Just curious. I'm sure we've asked you that before, but yeah, Jake's a Blazer fan. Yuck, I don't know.
I gotta get this mailbag uploaded. I'm gonna have to log off in like 5 minutes. I just gotta get this mailbag uploaded.
The draft is supposed to be November 18th now. So a month and a half.
Yep. Alright. I got my title.
Gun to his head, he picked LaMelo. Wow.
He said LaMelo?
We can't it's just weird though. Like, people who pay attention as much can differ some from their opinions, That's why it's a crapshoot, right?
Yeah.
And there's never anyone who is always right, so
LaMelo Ball is the next Tomas Satoransky.
That's not Avdia.
Could be Avdia. I don't know. Nah, I'm just not. LaMelo's not quick at the NBA level. LaMelo's not. He's not like. For a point guard, he's not quick. He's not strong. Who knows how strong he can be? I don't think he's going to be a good defender at all. His shot form is terrible. If he's a guy that can't get people playing him out on the 3-point line, he's not going to be able to get into the paint at all. His shot selection for a point guard is bad. Like I just don't see it. Like he's he's shifty, but he has a super low set point and low release. That's the problem. Dame has kind of a low set point and Steph does too, but they have a high release. He's a low set point and a low release. I guess he can get away with that since he's 6'7". But like, I don't know, man. If he's not a good 3-point shooter, he's not going to be able to get into the paint consistently and really make use of his passing skill. He's not going to be able to break down defenses consistently. Like I just don't see it. I'd rather take a guy like Wiseman whose floor I think is higher, like who should end up being like a good rim protector, as well as a solid rebounder who can finish well inside. Like that's a higher floor for me.
I watched an excessive amount of LaMelo Ball tape today
Did you?
because we're gonna do the profile on him today, but I just wanted to like try and I was like okay, I'm gonna like try to clear my mind, try to like think of this like without being biased, and like try to like see like how I can see him being like worthy of a number one pick or how high some people think of him. And I feel like his shiftiness is. I feel like he's going to get called for carrying a lot in the NBA because he has kind of like a hesitation crossover move that he does a lot. And it's like Kyrie kind of does it too and gets away with it. So he can probably get away with it at the NBA, but I just don't think he's going to be quick enough with it like Kyrie is to fool NBA defenders compared to Australian defenders or whatever. And even fooling them the way he did, he still didn't shoot that great anyway. So, like, yeah.
I don't know. Like, efficiency is such a major question mark with him. Like, yes, his passing is good, but okay, you want a guy who's going to get you 8.5 assists per 36 and who's not efficient and can't defend. Like, how is that a good player? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I see LaMelo Ball kind of becoming.
I mean, people are right though. Like Jake says, there's huge question marks about everyone. But
yeah, I feel like he's much more likely to not reach his upside than the other guys with question marks. Like, I don't know, man. I have Kira Lewis above him because I think Kira Lewis's floor is higher, and I don't think his ceiling is any lower.
I will say, if I was a team like the Knicks or the Pistons that needed a dynamic guard, I'd probably take a chance on him over like one of the wings that are just like a solid to good wing or like a Kira Lewis, just because like I feel like they need to take that risk to see if he can develop into more of a guy with high upside. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't take him if I'm like the Warriors. And I don't think he makes sense playing next to D'Angelo Russell in Minnesota. So unless you're talking about moving other guys, I don't think it makes sense for them to take him one, which is why I want them to take him.
If
but
I have the number one pick, if I was the Timberwolves, I would 1,000% trade it down. 1,000% trade it down. Because I was thinking about Anthony Edwards today. If he doesn't become like a number one scorer on a team, I have a hard time seeing him be like a good like secondary or third player, just with the way he plays and like his questionable outside shot and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you look at Andrew Wiggins, right? He's not good enough to be your number one scorer, but then like he's not a good 3-point shooter, not like inconsistent motor, not a good defender. Everybody thought he was going to be. Everybody thought he had elite defensive potential. I mean, I guess he kind of does, but like he doesn't fit as like a role player. So that's the thing with Anthony Edwards I'm kind of thinking about. It's like, okay, if he has work ethic questions, if he has questions about like how dedicated he is, and he doesn't end up fully fulfilling his potential, like that's the big question mark with him. You know what I mean? So there's question marks with, and I have Anthony Edwards number one. There's legitimate question marks with him though. I would much rather find a team that's like really wants Anthony Edwards, that has maybe a 6th or 7th pick, trade it down, and then like look at one of the guys in that range. That's 100% what I do.
Yeah, spoiler alert on the draft profile, but if you could trade down, get a Kongwu, and pair him with Cat
Yeah.
and D'Angelo Russell, I think that's better than
I think a
because then you
Kongwu
get
would be a
another
great fit.
asset too on top of that. Yeah,
Yeah, I think a Kongwu and Cat complement each other on both ends of the floor, and then you get another asset to use elsewhere. You kind of got a logjam of wings with Malik Beasley's legal issues. Who knows? Like, and he has a contract. He's a restricted free agent this summer. Who knows what happens with him? But yeah, so I don't know. That's the thing is there's so many question marks. I'm trading down, and I'm like taking. I'm like going. I'm trading down to the range where I could look at like a Kira Lewis Jr. or a Tyrese Halliburton or an FDA or a Toppin if he falls or something like that, and I'm getting another asset.
I saw a mock draft today where Toppin fell to 12.
If he fell for 12, I would be like, please trade up
Yeah,
4 spots, man.
dude, if you didn't have to give up much to get Toppin, man,
Oh, I know. No, no.
it'd be so awesome.
I think Mini
But
is all in on playing 5 out though. They need a rim protector who can also guard fours. I think defensively though, and a Kongwu can do both. Like, I mean, that's what I'd do if I was Mini. I'd trade down and take a Kongwu. But like Mini, who knows what they're gonna do? Like they might draft LaMelo Ball. You know what I mean? But I'm banking on them not making the wrong. I'm banking on them making the wrong decision. Let me just say that. So
they're, they're like the new Cavs, but like the same. Cavs are still the same.
yeah, they are. Yeah, it's the Timberwolves, the Kings, the Cavs, and the Knicks are the four like bottom feeders in terms of the way they're ran. You could maybe put Charlotte in there at this point, but yeah,
There's no way if Toppin fell to 16, we'd pass on him. It'd be just like last year with Nas.
yeah. Except
I
Toppin will
think
be ready right away.
Yeah, Jake, I see Toppin as exclusively a 4 in the NBA. I don't think he's obviously not quick enough to play the 3, and I don't think he's quite tough and big enough to play the center position, except for in small ball cases. But so yeah, I think he's a solid 4 in the NBA. I know you question his mobility.
I mean, yeah, but like that's like really the only question with him. Because like the mobility like kind of affects his defense and whatnot, but that's like the only like major question mark with him. He has as few question marks as anybody in the draft except for a Kongwu. I think a Kongwu is the safest pick with the highest floor, but like Toppin is like right there with them. And the thing is, Toppin. Here's the thing with Toppin. He has such offensive upside that he has a high floor and he has high upside. He's like the one player in this draft that I feel like has a high floor and high upside. So it's like I don't know. Him falling to 12 is ridiculous. Like I don't get it, man. I don't get what people don't see in him. Like, cause like I don't see how he's not like a 15, 20 point per game scorer. You look at what like John Collins does and how like John Collins is like a 20 point per game scorer. I think Toppin will at least be that.
Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot that. I forgot who was it. The Suns took Desmond Bain to 10 in this month.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's yeah.
I knew you would love that.
God, Desmond Payne.
And Sadiq Bey, Aaron Naismith, and Poku were all available at 16 when we and we took who did we take in that? Did we take Poku?
Is that who they had us taken? I don't mind that.
I we might not have taken him. I don't remember.
Which mock draft was this?
I don't know. Someone posted it in the group chat on Twitter.
I hate any mock draft having us draft Cole Anthony. Anything with Cole Anthony in it, hell no. Hell no. I do not want Cole Anthony. Yeesh. Cole Anthony's a guy just, bro, he's going to be one of those guys that, like, can't is not efficient enough and can't do anything else other than score, though. Those guys don't pan out in the NBA now. I think he's surefire, like, out of the league in, like, 6 years.
So, the guys I have 6 and 7 on my draft board, Jake doesn't have in his top 20.
Who's 6 and 7?
I don't. Bay and Naismith.
You gotta have both those guys in your top 20. You have to.
He doesn't like the film on those guys. I will say
Jake doesn't make sense this year, man. I don't get it. Watch him be right though. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Someone shooting over 50% on 8 threes a game. That's I hate that film. I hate watching him play.
I mean, that was a small sample size, so I get why he might.
I know. I'm just joking.
But like, dude, I don't see how somebody can like Vassell and not like Naismith. I don't understand that. I don't understand how somebody can like Vassell and not like Saddiq Bey.
But I will say, watching Naismith, another team where that's Jerry Stackhouse, who is the coach there, who's an ex-NBA player. They run so many creative off-ball picks and like curls and different. They have different wrinkles off their sets. They do a lot of elevator screens, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I just get so jealous watching someone get freed up that you know the defense is keen on and knows they're like the only guy who can score on your team, and they still find ways to get him wide open threes, and it's just, yeah. I get so jealous.
Yeah, don't get me going on our offensive system again.
Yeah, sorry.
I am finishing up this thumbnail for this mailbag, and then we're probably going to walk off.
Do you like the sets Vanderbilt runs, Jake? Even though you don't like Naismith?
Sorry, I'm making this thumbnail. I am almost done.
Man, that's what I wish. I wish Stotts would just be like the CEO and let. I wish he would just get an offensive guy and a defensive guy and let them like take over, and just him basically run the everyday aspects and the rotation and stuff like that, and then let other guys be a little more creative with the offense and stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't give his assistants enough reign, in my opinion. I don't want to rant about Stotts some more. I don't even want to think about Stotts some more. Let me just finish this thumbnail.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Marcus Howard will be in it. Mike, we haven't gotten to the back end of it.
Marcus Howard is interesting, but
yeah, we've been talking. So we're basically going to do like our big board, and then whatever players fall into the top 60, and then
yeah, we haven't fully decided on the players near the bottom of the draft, but
Trey Jones will definitely be in it, Alex.
Yeah. So we gotta like make sure we get the players we want.
Yeah, that was the other thing about this stupid draft. Yeah, I don't even know why I gave it a look after I saw this, but so Trey Jones went 42nd, and Maladon fell to 43.
What?
Yeah.
That mock sucks, dude.
I know. But can you imagine getting Poku and Maladon or Trey Jones like in the second round? Like,
oh, hell yeah, bro.
That would be an A+ draft, I think.
I mean, I'm not super high on Trey Jones, but like Maladon, if he fell, would be insane.
Yeah, you think it wouldn't cost that much to move up from 46 to 43?
Yeah. Yeah, but if Maladon was there, who knows?
Right.
I don't know. But like, why would he be there? I don't understand, man. I'm not high on Maladon, but he's a first-round prospect for sure. For sure. All right, mailbag just uploaded, just published. Let me tweet this out. I barely had time, so I recorded and edited it right before this. I actually barely edited it, so it might not be the cleanest, but it's out there for you guys to watch. Had some decent questions this week, I felt like, so People have been better about asking questions, not as many repeats, and some of the repeats I just left out. Tagging everyone twice in like 2 hours. Oh well, new mailbag out now. Alright. So, yeah, I'm gonna log off. I gotta go do some things, and we are gonna try and switch our stream times from 9:45 to 9. We were a little bit late today because I had to get this mailbag out, but Mondays and Thursdays at 9 now. I think that's a little bit better for me and hopefully Eric and hopefully you guys as well. Maybe it might be better for all of us. Main reason I wanted to do that is my gym closes at 8, so it allows me to go home and not, I don't know, like, because I need to work a lot, so instead of like coming home and then showering or whatever and then working for an hour then coming back home, it makes sense to just come home, shower, stream, work again. So that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go run my, according to Javo in here, do you see that? Gotta go run my food delivery business. Oh. Tori rap. Alex rap for me. I'll rap if you rap. But yeah, earlier is a little better for me. It wasn't better in the past, but now I can go get shots up. But this draft will be interesting. We'll have those draft profiles over on NBA Uprise, over on this channel. So if you're not subscribed, go subscribe there. Other than draft profiles, we're probably not going to put anything out there, but just made more sense to do draft profiles on like a general NBA channel where we might gain subscribers from other teams that wouldn't normally subscribe here. Anyway, anything else to plug?
Nope. I think we got it covered.
Other than you talking trash in the chat.
That's a factual statement, right?
Oh, we got an update from Alvaro. And his layup that he was going to attempt, you know? You remember the girl that was like...
Wanted friends with benefits situations.
Yeah, or whatever, and like she wanted him, but he was like asking for advice, and it's like, bro, it's a layup, just go shoot the layup. Yeah, Alvaro, give us the update and then we'll log off. Oh my god.
It was more like a slam dunk. Alright. Congrats, Alvaro. That was the first time in a while.
This is literally what he did. He either A, he's lying.
He just wanted to brag about it.
He's either A, lying, or B, he's telling the truth and knew the girl wanted him and knew it was so easy, but wanted to brag about it in a subtle way that he asked us for advice, knowing he had it in the bag, just so he could come back to a later stream and say, "Hey guys, it's a slam dunk. I got her in the bag." Like, you're not fooling me, Alvaro. You're not fooling me, bro. The thing is with Zacho actually wanted advice. We are only your dating counselors if you actually need dating counseling, okay? You didn't need any, Alvaro. You Come on, man. You're gonna get banned if you keep talking like that, bro.
What? So, sir.
Don't read it. Don't read it out loud, bro.
I know. So it was a more interesting story than just the one girl? Okay.
Alvaro's making me cringe, man. That just makes me cringe, bro. Because either A, these girls, they must have been extremely drunk if they're feeling Alvaro. Okay.
Oh, that's
or they get no attention, right? Or, yeah. I gotta hey, you listen. You see, he's getting a big head now. I gotta bring him down, bro. I'm doing him a favor.
Maybe he just got mad game.
If he had mad game, then hypothetically he wouldn't ask for advice.
Right.
So man, this guy's lying. Tori, you're
R.I.P. comes at the end. I don't even know what that means.
What?
Leave it to R.I.P. Come in here and say something weird.
This is the most random comment of this entire stream. Alvaro, I'm sure Eric would love to hear you brag about all of that. Dude, I'm cringing so hard.
So, Alvaro, you're going to play some Call of Duty then?
Alvaro, don't. Hey, if you're seeing a girl, don't bring her around me, bro. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Oh no, you wouldn't do that.
Nah, I wouldn't. I would wingman, bro. I would take his chick and give her to somebody else. Cause man, those lifeguards, man. They just think they're hot stuff.
You can't just let Alvaro have a win here.
Nope. I wouldn't. Bro, Alvaro, I would rather you let me drown if I needed saving than for you to save me, man. Nope. I couldn't handle that. This more cringe than Stas' defense. I know. How does this turn into all lifeguard? I don't know, man. It's Alvaro, bro. Alvaro in the past, 6 months have gone from just, a normal person that come in here to talk basketball to just, something completely different. I don't even know how to explain it. No one wants Alvaro's sloppy seconds. True. True.
I wasn't going to read that out.
True.
Sounds like he might have had 2 sloppy.
Man, he's just all around sloppy now. He's just all around sloppy.
Is that even safe to be doing right now these times?
Tori, are you thinking about it? Thinking about what? What's he trying to turn this into, man? What am I thinking about, Eric? I know he's about to say something cringy as hell. I guarantee you. Yeah. He saved himself.
So,
I ain't gonna let you use my chat with 12 viewers live at 11:06 on a Friday night. I am not going to let you use this live chat to brag about you bagging girls. Not gonna do it, bro. Not gonna do it. I'll make a Discord thread for you if you want. You can be bragging about whatever you do, just as long as it's not on my channel, because it's getting R-rated. Thank goodness we're not monetized. The chat itself would get us demonetized for the stuff being said in there. I can be a sarcast. What's a sarcast?
I'm not in my garage, so I can't really go too far into this either.
I don't even want to. I don't want to dive down that hole, man. Come on. R.I.P. We're not talking about Kelly Olynyk. We're talking about a different Kelly. A different Kelly with long hair.
We're not talking about your dad and how you're
yeah, apparently my dad. I don't know, man. What the hell? Anyway.
All right, go work.
I'm gonna start my dash. Once I get a good order, I'm gone. Oh, it's not busy right now? How the hell is it not busy right now? Anyway. Tori streaming on a Friday? I thought this wasn't gonna... What are you talking about? Who said Friday?
I think he's saying it's turning into a late night Friday stream or something.
I don't know. Yeah, we explored the gutter enough for one night. Yeah, Alvaro, you fit in perfectly with the late night crew. If only we had Captain Cap in here. Yo mama.
Oh, did you say Friday night?
Live at 11 on a Friday night? When the hell did I say that? What is Trevin talking about, man?
We'll have to check the tape.
What? I think you're mishearing. Why would I say Friday, number one? Why would I say 11, number two?
Because it was just 11.
Oh, I said you're not going to come in here at 11:06 on a Friday night. It's Monday night. What the hell am I talking about? I did say Friday night. I don't even know what end of the week it is, man.
It's the beginning of the week.
Hey, I beat Eric in fantasy football, though, so...
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah. I high score of the week.
Nice. That's back-to-back weeks I've had the high score against me. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. That's rough. Hey man, if only if I had my two receivers, I could have pushed. I could have pushed even higher. If I didn't have Renfro and Greg Ward, if I had AJ Brown and Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
You gonna make some moves, man?
Having Austin Eckler go down in 2 of my leagues
That sucks.
in the first quarter of the game.
You
Really
didn't handcuff him?
Well, I have him handcuffed in one of my leagues, but I'm saying he was in my starting lineup and he got hurt in the game. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah. I mean, I've had that. I had that happen with Will Fuller. I had that happen with Deontay Johnson. I had that happen with somebody else. I had that happen a lot this year. All these injuries, man, it's rough. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm glad you. I was hoping Devontae would be out because I was worried about you getting that top score. Because what the bonus for that's what $10.
Something like that. You make the rules.
I mean, I post the rules. I made the rules like last year. I just like repeated them, so you probably know as well as I do. I think it's $10. Weekly high score, $10.
Later, Eric Olson.
I will say this before we log off, though. This is my favorite fantasy football team I've ever had.
Nice.
I just like all the players. I'm like a fan of pretty much. Got Kittle. Got my guy Kittle. Got Joe Burrow, who's fun. Kamara, who's like fun as hell. Partly because it goes off, but I've always liked Kamara. Edwards-Helaire. Bro, rookie team, man. I'm trying to pick up another rookie. Just go all in with the rookies right now. My quarterback, my number 2 running back. I got Ayuk. There's a lot of good rookies this year. Antonio Gibson went off.
That's my problem too. Like I like my team as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I like the guys on your team. You got Jacobs, Eckler. They were a ton of fun last season because I had both of them. Cup. Did I have Cup last year? I forget. That's what sucks though. You had 2 receivers get 19 and 18. You had your tight end get 17, and it was your running backs, like your best 2 players. It just Eckler gets hurt and Jacobs is nothing.
I don't know what to do. And then I played the top scorer.
You're gonna have to trade for a running back. The problem is there's not a ton of good running backs. That's why I made that trade of Lamar Jackson for Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
I'll give CD for Kamara, another rookie for you. Yeah. Sure, bro. I think that would get vetoed. I would hope that gets vetoed. Yeah, I don't know. Because, like, running backs were struggling this week. Like, people were starting Jeff Wilson, Adrian Peterson, Myles Gaskin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not like a lot of good running backs right now, so I don't know. That's rough. But you got Le'Veon Bell. When's he coming back?
I don't know. I think he's eligible to come out the IR this week or next week, but I don't know if he's ready to or not.
You get Le'Veon, and you get... Is Jacob still healthy?
Yeah, he just had a bad game. I mean, he was questionable going into the game, so he's got some negative injuries, but...
Yeah, if Jacobs can like get healthy, you'd be fine. I think everything's bunched up. But you won a ring, so I no sympathy. If you hadn't won a ring, I'd feel bad. But I'm ringless. You have a ring.
Yep.
So I need to win one. Hey, I'm putting it down right now. I'm winning this here. Jake's in here as witness. Marking it right now. This is my year. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. I will catch you guys on Thursday, and Eric will have a video soon, trade talk video. I'm gonna switch up the videos I do for those. I didn't post one because I wasn't happy with it. DK sucks. I don't know what you're talking about, Alvaro. Anyway, I'm probably gonna lose that bet, but anyway, I gotta wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will have our next stream on Thursday, so that'll be after Game 5. Because Game 4 is tomorrow. correct? Game 4 is tomorrow and Game 5 is Thursday.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
So we might be talking about a championship, or hopefully we're talking about a series. Hopefully we're talking about a Miami 3-2 lead. I want Miami to win so bad, man. I want Miami to win. That would, dude, how awesome would that be for the Lakers to choke this series to the Miami Heat for Myers to get a ring? I'm rooting so hard for him right now. So anyway, yeah, I'll catch you guys after Game 5 on Thursday. We'll have the recap of Game 5. We will talk about Game 4 and Game 5. And yeah, we're just kind of in a lull at this point. The only thing to talk about is basketball. I'm honestly excited to get into the offseason where we can start talking about legitimate trade rumors and like, you know, more draft stuff, and maybe have some like legitimate stuff to talk about, like legitimate news, legitimate rumors. Because right now it's just like us speculating and us just talking about what we think about draft prospects. So I'm ready. I'm ready for like the full scale off season right now. I'm ready for it. Anyway, yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. As always, peace out.